Hello, this is a brief introduction to an expansion of the Fluree partner network in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. A warm welcome to you all. This is Buck Flanagan from Fluree. I'm responsible for our global network of partners using Fluree technology to power their software products and consulting services. We've seen rapid adoption and increasing demand for Fluree across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, which we'll call EMEA, EMEA. We continue to invest in the partnerships with the leading practitioners of data-centric architecture and Web3 development. To manage this growth opportunity, we brought on board some senior leadership to work with our customers and our partners across this region, doing business as Fluree EMEA. I'm happy to introduce the two founders of Fluree EMEA to you, Evert Vernson and Jan Verrept. Evert, would you like to introduce yourself, talk a bit about your background?
Certainly, Buck. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Evert Vernson. It's a little bit more in Dutch than in English. I'm based in the Netherlands, close to Utrecht. I've quite an experience in the past with the data management arena. I worked for a company called Platinum Technology Benelux. I founded that in the 90s, representing Platinum USA. And Platinum was active in the DB2 relational database world. And that's where my relationship with Mr. Andrew Filipowski started, because he was the founder of the Platinum Technology organization in the USA. After that, I was responsible as an area director for Mobius Management Systems. Mobius is active in the enterprise content management arena, and I was responsible for the Benelux area, the DACH region, which is Germany, Austria, and South Africa. In 2016, I joined a company called Human Inference as VP Sales and Operation, and became later the managing director. Human Inference is active in the world of master data management for customer data, with offices in the Benelux area, Germany, and the UK. And I'm very happy now to join the Fluree force.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Evert, and welcome. Jan, would you like to say hello and introduce and tell a bit about your background?
Yeah, sure, Buck. Thank you for the introduction. So I'm Jan Verrept. I'm born in Belgium and also working from, let's say, the heart of Europe, near Brussels, with a lot of EU, but also American institutions and headquarters. So that should be an advantage. I'm a business professional with experience within data management, sales and business development areas, but also in general management. And lately, I have a background in, let's say, starting up branch offices and business units for multinational companies. I also worked together with Evert for a few years, the last years. And before that, some experience in European fintech companies. So now recently, as Evert said, yeah, together we started Fluree EMEA. So I'm very excited to start this new adventure. And it is our mission now to market the Fluree products and services in the European region, with expansion to Middle East and Africa. So very excited to be on board.
That's great. Thank you, guys. Evert, first question for you, and then Jan, feel free to weigh in on this. But why partner with Fluree? What are some of the most interesting and exciting things that you're seeing within the EU and the overall EMEA market?
Yeah, first of all, why partner with Fluree? We think, Jan and myself, that graph databases are the present and future of the internet. And Fluree's immutable ledger with a very powerful RDF graph database has to become the potential to become the leader in this space. The experience we have, the team behind Fluree, is another reason for us to join the Fluree network in EMEA. They have a very proven track record, are extremely intelligent and very important, very pleasant to work with. There are many initiatives in Europe, but perhaps I leave that to Jan.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Evert. Yeah, I think that in Europe, yeah, there might be a difference with the US or other parts in the world, but I think what we surely have in common now is, of course, the explosion of data in all different verticals in different industries, but combined with that, a very strict GDPR regulations. So that are really drivers for, let's say, new initiatives on data storage and data management. And then, of course, we see the trend of data-centric instead of application-centric. And yeah, as I said, security is very important. Also, the fact that Fluree has open source versions, I think that is also very interesting these days. And yeah, some of the features we'll get back in that more in detail in later opportunities. But like, for instance, time traveling, that is a very important aspect that we notice now for different institutions. So I think in general, the approach of Fluree, the experience of the people on board, which is also quite impressive. That for us, for Evert and I, were certainly triggers to start with Fluree in the EMEA region.
Yeah, that's great. And you touched, Jan, on a couple of areas that might be unique to the European Union and that theater. And also in Africa, the Middle East, a lot of developing countries, and just a ton of innovation. So while a data-centric architecture and that approach, and there are universal problems around the globe that are consistent use cases, there's also some differentiators where, for example, the European Union is leading in some of these data privacy, open data, and some of the standards that are embodied in the World Wide Web Consortium, that W3C technology stack that Fluree is based on. You know, what are some of those other unique opportunities? Maybe Evert, I'll put it over to you, where you see some hot topics or trends, barriers that need to be overcome that are across the EMEA region?
Yeah, there are a tremendous amount of initiatives within the European Union. An example, for instance, they are investing 2.5 billion euros in the European High Impact Project to develop data processing infrastructure, data sharing tools, architectures, and governance mechanisms for thriving data sharing, and to federate energy efficient and trustworthy cloud infrastructures and related services. In my opinion, Fluree Nexus initiatives perfectly fits as an example. There are many other initiatives like the European Digital Identity. We want to come to one standard European identity, which can be used for every individual European person, but also for companies. And with that, we will be able to create a personal digital wallet all over Europe, which is a very strong initiative. Few other initiatives, I won't go into details, but sharing electronic health records is a very important item on the list of the European Union, and privacy and personal information, the GDPR aspects are also high on the list. And the last one I would like to mention is the digital evidence management arena, where we already have a customer in the Netherlands who are very actively using Fluree for digital evidence management activities.
Yeah, that's great.
That of course the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, is also an important driver, as Evert said, sharing of electronic health records. So there are initiatives in each European country, but also pan-European, driven by European institutions. So that is something that I feel that we can bring a lot of added value on a very short term. And a lot of projects are defined by the EU institutions on those topics.
Yeah, that covers some broad areas, but then you also got into some very specific use cases, which we've seen the uptake of Fluree's unique technology stack based on some of our capabilities. So it looks like partners and customers within your theater, and when you think about, you know, Europe and the Middle East and Africa, this is a very broad geographic region, but we do have capabilities with, you know, Fluree PBC, our overall global parent company, but having the people on the ground there with the senior leadership and your networks that you have, if somebody were watching this within that region that's applicable to those use cases, how would you like to interact and close out here, either with organizations that are doing business or based in your region, or even partners, consulting services, people building new Web3 decentralized applications? How do they engage and work with the two of you as you're building out your team?
Would you like to answer, Jan, or shall I do it?
Yeah, sure. I will give it a try. I think, yeah, the aim of Evert and I is to be, a full branch office or an extension, let's say, of Fluree, the mother company, but then operating in Europe. So we also provide, of course, the sales of licenses, but on the other hand, we also provide consultancy and first line support, which is of course very important for the type of customers that we are addressing to. So that is our main ambition, so that we are in fact an extension of the Fluree mother company, but then being based in EMEA locally. We of course have the advantage that we know the market, we also know the languages and the needs, but that is now our first aim, to put Fluree as a full organization on the European map and in extension to Middle East and Africa.
If I may add something to this, Buck.
Please.
We are quite focusing and discussing on Europe, but as you already mentioned, it's not only Europe, it's of course also the Middle East and Africa. And we are actively building our partner network in the Middle East, where we already have partners, and in Africa, for organizations who are very interested in the technology provided by Fluree. And if there is any form of interest, please don't hesitate to contact us, of course.
Well, I think that's great. This has been a really warm introduction to our team. We're very happy to have the senior leadership here in Evert and Jan. You can reach Fluree through the Fluree website in terms of getting in contact directly with these folks. And as we had mentioned, this is an extension of and reaching out from the support and services that the Fluree PBC as a public benefit corporation is doing around the world. I'll let this wrap up now. Evert, Jan, perhaps you might want to use your native tongues or something besides English to say goodbye and well wishes to our audience.
Okay. Merci, au revoir.
It's in French. En dank u voor het kijken naar deze video. Vielen Dank und auf Wiedersehen.
Okay. Salut.
Thank you, team.
Good introduction, Buck.
Thank you, Buck.